Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And as always, we'll get to the chit chat with Randall John and I in just a little bit here. But I did want to give a shout out to a couple games, and I did want to also give a quick mention. I know I mentioned a few weeks ago on one of these Save It for the Cast episodes, or at least relatively recently, that I was pretty sure that I was down to the bottom of the audio issue that we were having. And I think I figured out what the issue was finally, but I'm sure you've noticed like some of the clipping on previous episodes in the last couple weeks on my end in particular, and that apparently the software was like adjusting the volume of like the recording level on the fly. But I think, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I have that all figured out at this point. So thanks for bearing with us with a little bit of audio clipping in the last couple weeks. I know it wasn't terrible, but being an audio engineer just drove me crazy personally. But enough of the audio nitpicking aside, I did want to give a shout out to just a couple quick games that I'm pretty sure I've mentioned on the podcast, at least for the most part. I've just been kind of like picking up my Switch and kind of like throwing on a podcast in the background and just like firing up some games that either like kind of are more on the arcadey end of the spectrum, where I can just like pick it up and play a quick round or two, or like for example, I just actually recently picked up Lonely Mountains Downhill, which I've raved about on the podcast, but I finally picked it up on my Switch. I was playing it on Xbox Game Pass before, and I think that's actually really the main reason I kind of eventually stopped playing, because they like announced like a DLC island, and I was like, well, I'm not going to get DLC for the Game Pass version. I'm going to wait to get it on Switch, and just finally got around to getting that. It was on sale recently, and I picked up the DLC as well, so I've been like chipping away playing some of that. Still one of my absolute favorite games to just pick up and play, and it's just so versatile, and it's like, I kind of compared it recently to OlliOlli World, or at least I will be comparing it. Like I those two games just kind of go hand in hand in my mind. Like I'm just like, I don't know, they just have such a flow state, and I guess they both kind of have this like low poly, like 3D style to it. But the gameplay couldn't be more different. But at the same time, I'm like getting the same sort of like, I don't know, the same sort of adrenaline rush or whatever it is, whatever dopamine hit I'm getting from these games. I just can't get enough. And then I've just been kind of like perusing around on my Switch otherwise, and like I just went back and finished off the rest of like the challenges and Time UFO, which I shouldn't say the rest of the challenges, because after I like beat the game, quote unquote, which there was way more than I thought there would be, it got down to like there were like some boss battles at the end. And this is just like if you're unfamiliar with the game, it's actually from HAL Laboratory from Nintendo. And yeah, it's crazy. I guess with like Kirby coming up right around the corner, I was just kind of like, yeah, you know what? I should polish this off. And again, I just love the music in the game. The pixel art's crazy. The second like half of the stages, like they're kind of like, I think the reason I stopped playing before is because I kind of thought they were going to be like, oh, these are just like a little small tweak on the, like, here's the farm version 1, and then farm version 2 is like just a slight tweak. But they were actually pretty crazy tweaks. Like at the farm level, for example, I was like pulling up these radishes out of the ground and like chasing a truck and trying to load the radishes onto the truck. And the radishes were like all different shapes and sizes, like to the point where they had like legs and arms. I guess they didn't have arms, but they were like literally kicking and screaming as I pulled them out of the dirt. It was just hilarious. So the game's just a blast, and it has couch co-op. There's a few different modes, and then there's a whole nother mode that opens up after you beat the game that's like kind of more like, they're almost like dungeon crawler levels. Like take that with a grain of salt, but they're like I only played like the first 2 stages, but they're like there's like a little bit of light exploration, and you're just kind of like going around, like just picture like a super miniature Metroidvania, but like you're just like going to find the keys, more puzzle solving than it is, you're not getting new abilities or anything Metroidvania style. But I just thought that was like such a surprise after like already like, oh man, they really like got everything out of this game. They, went and added a whole nother mode, and it's just, it's so cool. I've also been picking up, I did a stream recently, and I was just kind of bouncing around the Switch, and I was playing through Hell is Other Demons, and that's another game that's just like super arcadey, pick up and play. It's got a bunch of different modes, but I tend to lean right into the arcade mode. I'm pretty sure that's actually what it's called, is just arcade. And it basically just plays kind of like a, one run permadeath roguelike, where you get some upgrades along the way, some, really, light on the roguelike side of things. But there's a campaign, there's like a whole like platforming challenge thing as well. And then I also went back and fired up Assault Android Cactus Plus after playing some Unpacking. I actually played through the entire game Unpacking on Xbox Game Pass. Both these games are from Witchbeam Games, and couldn't be more different. I was a huge fan of Assault Android Cactus. I think Assault Android Cactus Plus is just like the version that they put out on consoles, and then I think it's got like quality of life improvements, and I think it's available on Steam and other platforms as well. But yeah, it's just such a great action-packed twin stick shooter that has up to 4-player co-op. I was just playing solo, but it has such a great risk reward system. But it's like, I don't know, it's like it's extremely challenging, but at the same time, it like, because of that risk reward system, it's like it can be as challenging. I mean, it's definitely a hard game, but like if you want to play it like a little more leisurely, you don't have to go for like trying to keep your combo maxed out at all times while your like battery's at full charge, which is sort of like your battery kind of doubles as your health bar. But then Unpacking was just such a fun stream, and I'm probably going to talk about it some more on either an episode or another upcoming Save It for the Cast like conversation, because before recording the other day, I was kind of getting into it, just talking about the guys, and I was like, yeah, I guess I'll trim that out at some point, but and use it for one of these Save It for the Cast conversations. But I really, really loved my time with the game, really up until the final moment. Like, the only thing I didn't like about the game was the closing credits song. It was just like super cheesy. It just had, I'm not a big fan of like when they like really try to like, in general, like lyrics. I guess we've talked about having like lyrics or vocals in video game music in the past, and it's not a terrible thing. Like, it can be awesome. Like, I really loved it in Ickenfell, but when it's like called attention to, and like the whole game Unpacking otherwise has had this kind of really minimalist like acoustic guitar with like some light electro feels going on, like some light synthesizer stuff, just really cool and chill music to like, sip on some coffee. I was kind of playing this in the mornings and whatnot, and like just sipping on some coffee, and there's really no real structure to the game other than you're just like unpacking all your stuff through a series of moves throughout the course of your life. And it's kind of like a narrative adventure. And then, there's just like a few rules in the sense like, okay, you pulled your diary out and you can't just like leave your diary out on the bed. You got to tuck it into a drawer or something in it, but it doesn't tell you that. It just kind of like, once you've finished unpacking everything, like certain items will just kind of be like flashing with like a red outline around them, kind of letting you know like, okay, yeah, you need to put this somewhere else. It doesn't belong here. And you can mostly pretty much deduce that. There's a few items here and there where I'd like zoom in and be like, what the heck is that thing? But I think they might have just been like very specific, and the items get so specific to where like I could really tell, like I pulled out a GameCube at one point and like could even tell like as I pulled out the games, like, oh, there's Double Dash, oh, there's Mario Party or whatever. Like I can't remember what I remember seeing Double Dash distinctly, and Wind Waker, I think, but like it's in such tiny little pixel art representations. Like, again, the pixel art and sound design in this game is just immaculate. I feel bad that I kind of let off with the criticism on the closing outro song, because, yeah, again, otherwise the music is phenomenal, and the game is just really relaxing. It's just something totally different, and it kind of leans into that like cursor-based gameplay that I've been getting into, where you're just like, I'm chilling in my recliner, laying back, like I said, sipping on some coffee, and just scrolling the mouse around and clicking on stuff with no real sense of urgency to the gameplay. And some of the games that I've played do have a little bit of urgency to them when it comes to the clicking, but in this case, yeah, I'm just kind of chilling. It was a really, really fun time. And couldn't be more different from Assault Android Cactus. So it was just like really impressive, even though as you're unpacking, like there's even little Easter eggs where like you pull out the Cactus figurine, like the main character from Assault Android Cactus. It's just so cool. I'm just a huge fan of both games. Probably lean a little bit like, I don't see myself replaying Unpacking and for any reason. It's definitely kind of a one-time experience sort of thing, at least for me. But Assault Android Cactus is something that I'm definitely going to be firing up and either chasing the high scores or, trying to convince some friends to play multiplayer with me or whatever. But I think I've done enough rambling for the intro of this episode here. And I guess Randall, John, and I will get into the regular chit chat. We get into some random just kind of BS to start things off, and then we'll get into some more game stuff on the back half of the episode. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week. And until then, take care. Boom, boom. What are you drinking over there, by the way, Randall?
I have some kombucha mixed with rum and Hennessy.
Ooh, nice.
Little what remains of the cabinet cocktail.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's my favorite game from 2012. What remains of, I don't know.
sleeper
man.
hit. It's underrated drink.
So how old were what were the vintages on some of those ingredients?
Not that vintage.
Okay.
It was just like a small little handle of Hennessy from the local like Rite Aid or whatever during a snowstorm back in like December. So there's a little bit left of that, and it's not that old.
Okay.
Hennessy's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I'd never really had it on its own, so I'm like, oh, let me try this. Because I've had like cognac aged alcohol beverages before, but I've not just had cognac on its own. Like, let's do it.
I forget. I think I might have had Courvoisier at a like bar that like we had drink tickets to. Like I think someone's held like a banquet there, and they're like, there's just a bunch of free drink tickets for your friends. And so like we stopped there. It's like I want to try something I've never had before. So I ordered that, and I was like, oh boy, that was the slowest sipper I've ever had. Like even like port, I think the sweetness slows you down, but like you feel like you could probably take a little bit bigger like swigs other than that. But like with those like triple distilled stuff, like that's a lot. There's a lot, and it just is overpowering.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Oh, I forget.
I thought it was fine.
There's by the Goose Island, like in the warehouse district, Kevin.
The River North or whatever.
Yeah,
Or what is it? Is it just called Goose Island?
It's the tap room in Fulton.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of. So there is maybe it's brandy. Rhine Hall Distillery. What are you?
Yeah, they do brandy and stuff. I think. Yeah, like I think they do like all different like flavors and stuff. Like
and
all sorts of crazy infusions and stuff.
I did. It was because there is also a whatchamacallit, like a fine art gallery down there that Lauren like goes to occasionally. I was waiting for her there because I was there super early, and I got a flight of brandy, which is something I feel like an alcoholic would get. Because by the time Lauren got to the gallery, I was basically shit faced.
and you know how like a bartender at a distillery is gonna pour.
Oh yeah,
but like, but they were tiny. Like, they
hit, man. Brandy hits you
so hard.
Oh yeah,
and it's like pretty much. I think it's like the same as whiskey alcohol wise, but I don't know, man. It's something about it just hits you.
Oh, they're too. Yeah, like the smell itself is like intoxicating.
Yeah,
I love those little local distilleries.
Mm-hmm.
They are cool.
I've missed going to those in our modern world. I'd like to get back to doing that once in a while.
Yeah.
Plus, having a kid kind of threw that off a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about distilleries. Most breweries I go to, I see a whole stack of high chairs in the corner.
Oh yeah.
These days,
it's easier to have,
which is crazy to me. But
yeah, like a tasting of beer than like at a
yes. Yes.
Yeah, a flight of any kind of hard alcohol seems just dangerous.
Yeah, it's just essentially
dangerous.
Shots. Like
yeah.
Even if they're smaller and you're sipping them slower,
shots
and
pretty much. Yeah.
But you're mixing them. You know, even if it's all kind of roughly the same stuff, it's still like I don't know, man.
Yeah, the alcohol to liquid ingestion ratio is too far off.
Yeah. Although I'm the one over here drinking some gin and chocolate milk, so
hell yes, I should. Hell yeah, Kevin, lean into it.
One to talk.
Hell
I should be
yes.
one to talk. It's so good, man. I'm not even gonna. It's fucking amazing. I had enough coffee this morning that I was like, I can kind of feel the acid reflux coming, so I don't need alcohol and coffee.
That's why. Well, that's good. The milk tamps it down in your stomach. So, as someone who used to mix together things like Surge and milk, I mean, this makes perfect sense to me.
Surge and milk?
That's right, baby.
What was the flavor of Surge? Was it just lemon lime?
Mountain Dew,
like
but more
Mountain Dew
extreme.
Flavor?
I was gonna say like the Fruit Loops level lemon lime. It's not even trying to imitate real lemon and lime. It's
It's like the powder.
Yeah,
like that, but like take like the bite of like a Coca-Cola product because that's what it was, right? and add it to like a Mountain Dew type of mixture, but more extreme, right?
Okay, this is like,
like what if Mountain Dew was more neon?
Okay, so root beer is a sarsaparilla root.
Yep.
And like apparently I didn't know this, but in the 60s it was found that it was highly carcinogenic.
Really?
Yes. So there hasn't
Really?
been actual root in root beer like for our entire lives.
So what do they? Because you can buy sarsaparilla soda as well.
Okay, but that one I think is because it's made out of the stem of the sarsaparilla.
Oh, okay. Let's say like you go to a Renaissance fair, you can still buy stuff like that, but maybe
I love those,
without.
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, root beer is
could be
mostly
imitation
just like
flavor.
other spices. It's like cinnamon and
Probably a little ginger.
yeah,
maybe.
yes,
Makes
but
sense.
it's been an artificial version
Molasses.
of sarsaparilla, like basically our entire lives. So we have never known the true forbidden elixir that is root beer.
That's one of the few sodas I still like get a craving for. Like I hardly ever drink soda anymore, but like cream soda, root beer, like anything in that family.
Root beer is
Ginger
also
ale.
supposedly like the major like American thing, like when there is like a weird flavor. Because like there, you know how if you're trying food from or like a drink or a snack from someplace, that's like a taste that just doesn't exist in like the normal like American day to day. Like apparently root beer is that for other countries where like they taste it, they're like, what is this? Like, what is this combination of flavors? This is insane.
There's this soda from Malta where my dad's side of the family is from. Most of the family, anyways. That's called Kinney or I think it's Kinney. It might be Kimmy, but it's like at one family reunion, I remember like someone in my family was either in town from Malta or somebody had gone recently and brought a bunch back, and everyone was like, Kinney, like handing around Kinney, like drinking it, and it tasted like fucking bug spray, like what? Because you know how sometimes when you're spraying bug spray on your arm, you like get a little mist in your mouth.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God. And everyone's like, I'm like, dude, you guys are just trying to. Like, my uncle's like, Kev, have a Kinney. I'm like, this is gross, dude. This is nasty. But you know, obviously everyone has different taste buds, you know, but everyone's like slam. I was like, this is just nasty. And it was like immediate. That was what I, that's what it tasted like. It was gross. Kinney. Flashbacks, man. Uncle
That's
Albert.
funny.
It's been so long since I've had a flavor that's like new or confusing. Like
yeah, that's a good point.
I used to get a lot of that in like my 20s, but I feel like I've gotten most of those flavors now.
Yeah. There's nothing new to experience.
I definitely got over, not that I eat like anything, but I got over my hump of just like, I don't know. Like there was definitely a time where I like hadn't eaten Thai food or Indian food or anything like that. And now I'm just like, ooh, man, those are like my favorite things to eat.
Hell yes.
Ooh, it was Nepalese. There was a place up on like in Rogers Park, north side of Chicago, that apparently is also like just like where if you're trying to like become a like tenured Indian food chef, like you go to I think Foster or like one of those streets up there, and like that's where all the like the really great restaurants are. But there was one that was food from Nepal, and it was like halfway between Indian and Chinese, and like it was so good. That was such a good combo of like
Oh
yeah, that sounds.
I love those sort of fusions. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, there's another one that's it's
that's the sort of stuff that big cities can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's always exciting.
Yeah, and even just lean into like a singular cuisine. You know, even let alone the fusions. But yeah.
Ooh, okay. Bangladeshi food is also like halfway between Indian and like Vietnam. Or
Give it to me right now.
It's
because like what I'm picturing is like China. When you said what was the first one? No, not Peruvian.
Indian. Nepalese.
Nepalese. Like I'm picturing like Chinese food, but with like thicker, creamier Indian style sauces. Is that what we're talking?
Just that. Oh, it is so good. And like that's the same thing
because that's my favorite part is the thick, like it's almost like you're having like a soup when you have like India.
Yeah, baby.
So like that was the stuff with the Bangladeshi food. It was that like it had the spices from Thai food. But like the noodles from like Thai or the spices from Indian food and the noodles from Thai food.
Yeah, like or like the vermicelli type of noodles they can do with Vietnamese stuff. We got a bomb ass Vietnamese place by us that we're probably gonna go to again tomorrow. And I've been on that kick lately. So
what do you get at the Vietnamese place? Do you mix
it's hard.
It up, or?
A lot of time I'm just basic and I get like the banh mi because it's just too good not to get, and we don't get it quite often enough for me to. Then I start craving it if I don't get it. But then Tina will get these like what is hers called? I can't remember the name of it, but it comes with vermicelli noodles and it's fucking delicious. It's just like it's kind of like a tandoori chicken type of thing.
Noodle salad. It's like lemon tofu is what the seasoning is when we get it. Oh my god!
Yeah, those banh mi sandwiches always taste so fresh. Like those, I don't know, those little they're not sprouts, but whatever it is that they put on them.
It's basically like you get the cucumber salad in itself, where it's like the vinegar-soaked cucumbers, red onions, and carrots. I was like, oh my god!
But it's oddly fresh because usually, like you don't get. Maybe it's like the cilantro or the
lime, cilantro, and jalapeno. Like that mixture is just.
Yeah, they're always. I'm always
sauce.
They're always a little bit spicier than I expect. Like they creep up on me. By the time I'm done, I'm fucking sweating my ass off.
Like the best jalapenos I eat are either in banh mi or was it pad ki mao? Is that the one that like is super hot, or maybe it's just hot for me?
I'm big for jalapenos these days.
You're big for them or not big?
No, I am. I used to be a baby person that like could only have them from time to time, and now I go after them on purpose.
Yeah, they're tasty.
Yeah, that peppers in general, like I think like also is just like a normal thing for anybody when they age. I think they like taste things as more sweeter, like with less that they don't need to be as sweet for you to taste them as sweeter. So like
totally.
Carrots are super sweet to me now. Peppers are super sweet to me now. Cucumbers are like, oh my god, this is just a melon.
Especially if it's fresh.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Especially with the peppers. Yeah. Sometimes I can just eat like I was always like
peppers are
either
almost
in
too
something.
Sweet.
Yeah, I used to be like peppers like in a pasta dish, or it's like on like there's like slices of it with like a dip or something. But now sometimes I'm just like when I'm cutting up the peppers, I'm just like let me eat a chunk, like I'm just eating it like it's nothing. I love them. You need another beer over there, John?
What?
You need another beer over there, John?
I'm almost.
I keep seeing you grabbing that empty High Life.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Boom.
I planned ahead, baby.
Prepared. I saw you like lean back on that last one, and then I saw you like it looked like you like went like shit, it's empty. So I was like, oh, do you need another one before we get started?
Keep them in the closet.
I didn't really
Got a mini fridge in there.
I definitely did like crunch one, and then I just kept drinking.
Got a mini fridge in there. Got the laptop in there to keep it cool.
Wouldn't be so bad of a place for a mini fridge if there was an outlet.
Or if there was like any airflow whatsoever.
Yeah.
All the clothes would just smell of fridge.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Although if it's just beer in there and stuff, might not smell like anything too bad.
Just the exhaust of the fridge though.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. You guys want to roll into it?
Let's go.
I want to talk about video games.
Let's talk about video games.
Yeah.
I'm going to jot down the time. I'm at about
Don't
43
make me look
minutes.
at the time again.
No. Once I got the initial time, I can just do the math.
Okay.
I'm just jotting down the time for myself. And I really just write down my own time every time. You guys actually don't even really need to tell me.
Whoa,
what?
For years.
That's not 100% true. If it's ever more than like
we made a mistake
30 seconds
on
off.
day one, and you've been too chicken shit.
Yep.
No,
trust
if it's ever
quotient
more than like,
just-
if it's ever over a minute off, I jot it down because then I'm like, okay, it's not going to be like within the same chunk if I started at the same time.
Kevin, every time he like writes down his numbers, like, all right, yeah, tell me what you got.
38-14.
Sure.
I gotcha.
It makes them feel like they're part of the process, so I still ask them.
Yeah, that is the little brother with the unplugged controller.
Exactly. Yes.
Now I gotta write down a new start time. I can't. We were just talking about that in the Discord. I was like, oh, it's perfect for like. I think we were talking about Cappy in Super Mario Odyssey. Like, oh, it's the perfect for like just like, you know, giving it to your kid and pretending like they're playing. And somebody's like, yeah, like until they're 4. They're like even a 4-year-old's smart enough to know Cappy sucks. Like in co-op mode, not the actual Cappy character.
Yeah, because we all know that Cappy the character is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm kind
Gives it a
of
little extra bounce.
I'm indifferent, but yeah, the control of Cappy is great. I would love to honestly just add that to every 3D Mario game.
We're probably due for a 3D Mario game announcement here in the next 6 months or so.
I was a little bit expecting maybe they were going to pull something out during that Nintendo Direct.
We need to start talking about actual video games on the podcast, but I also have a conspiracy theory in regards to Nintendo and their business plans. So in that last Direct, they announced Earthbound and, you know, whatever Earthbound Zero was, whatever they call that
the
now.
beginnings, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
And people are like, oh my God, are they going to finally say it? Is Mother 3 coming over? No. But, so, they're shuttering the Wii U eShop and the 3DS eShop, which, less so 3DS, but Wii U gave you access to purchase Game Boy Advance games. Without this, there's no way that Nintendo is offering you Game Boy Advance products currently, right? Okay. I believe that they will announce at some point, maybe the next time around that they see that the most users are re-upping their Switch Online Premium subscriptions, whenever the high point of that might be, might throw in a little announcement that they're going to expand to include a Game Boy Advance section to their Switch Online Premium subscription. And oh, by the way, here's a translated Mother 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I was half expecting it to come at the end of that announcement.
We're not even in Advance yet. Just give me Game Boy.
They're going to do Game Boy Advance.
They'll do them both at the same time.
I bet you they do Game Boy Advance first because there's so many tie-ins to modern titles still. You got what's happening with the Metroid Fusion.
Game Boy is literal
Kirby.
kilobytes.
Yep.
A Game Boy they could run Game Boy on like the eShop of like the Wii.
Absolutely.
Like, servers.
Is there mainstream appeal for the original Game Boy library at this point as compared to Game Boy Advance?
I don't know.
Us.
I mean, I definitely know what you mean, that the Game Boy Advance is a bigger... and you got Advance Wars, you got...
Which they probably wouldn't put that on there at this point because they're, they got that relaunch product happening, but...
Which looks great. I would like the first...
I'm buying it.
The first time they showed it, I was kind of like, it looks cool. I don't know if I'm totally into the style, but this time they showed it, I was like, I'm in. The way they went all in enough to where it's like, they nailed it. They went.
I definitely
I don't know, they
had like a negative
cheap.
gut reaction the first time. But then again, when you said like when I saw the second trailer, I was like, I don't even remember what it was that bugged me.
That's exactly how I felt. I was just like, what? I was like, what didn't I like about this? This looks sweet.
I just prefer the sprite art generally, but it looks fine. It's fine.
Like when they go for that super clean poly, like it's not low poly, but it almost is because it's so clean.
The way forward designs is a perfect like company to do it. Like that was like, yes, they're slightly different, yes, they're more cartoony, but it also is incredible. Like it's a perfect fit for it.
And those games need to be available again. Those are great games. And hopefully that relaunches the whole franchise.
Oh my god,
that would be awesome.
All right,
we need to start talking about some video games.
Past time. Okay, so I originally wrote down 43 minutes.
Do you want my time, Kevin?
48:30. Yeah, what time
Kevin?
is that?
Okay.
I'm at 47:45.
48:12.
Perfect.
You notice how he always says perfect too.
I do write it down sometimes. I usually write down just the seconds.
Kevin, do you know of Yaba's Grill?
That sounds familiar. I think so. I think I've ordered from there before.
Fairly certain that's the name of it. It's on Armitage. It's by my old place, kind of by Scofflaw and Parsons, in between them.
Yeah,
incredible. It's. I thought it was just a bodega for like the entire time I lived in that neighborhood. It wasn't until they were on an episode of Check Please on NPR.
Oh, nice.
And, or PBS, and I was
nice.
Like, hey, wait a minute. I thought that was just like a place where you got cigarettes. I didn't realize there was a restaurant and that it was Zagat rated in the back.
Nice.
That means it's super dope, though. That means that food is fucking incredible.
Zagat's, that's not even Michelin.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Michelin will go around, not the stars necessarily, but they'll just be like, it's Michelin recommended. They just go around. And also, who the fuck takes their restaurant recommendations from a tire company?
Hey, because they hired quality tasters.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what company you are, as long as you fund it. Let's start this stupid episode. What are we even talking about?
I was just gonna say we should probably do a rundown. So we're gonna do Shroomkatect, then XO1, then I'm gonna just do a quick shout out for Oliha. Then we're gonna talk about some controller adapters, and then some 64 on the Switch. Are we particularly talking about like the Switch aspect of things, or just like
in general
modern retro whatever?
Yeah, I mean I'm mostly gonna be talking about it because like. For the longest time, I wasn't going to play any of them until I got an N64 controller, and then I tried these two in particular, and I was like, "Oh, actually, they work 100% fine without it."
Nice.
Like
I'm actually happy to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, those two in particular, like Star Fox, I think I still had a little difficulty with, just because like A and B are inverted in position.
Ugh. Yeah. So you're throwing bombs when you don't mean to be.
Yep.
And those are baked into your brain. A game like that. Yeah.
It's the visual. We'll save it for the cast.
Let's talk about Star Fox 64. Yes, please.
Oh, I just went retro bowl style and led the receiver with the time I wrote down here, and I wrote down 51 minutes.
All right,
it's like I know we're gonna rant for a little bit, so we're perfect. We're perfect timing here.
That game too.
Nice. Nice. All right. Here we go. Man, oh man. But I was like half tempted to swap in OlliOlli World. I'm going to save it for later. But man, I was playing a bunch of it today because it was just like, even before I got that text from my family about my mom, just with like all the Ukraine stuff going on. It was just like, I'm just going to play this like mindless game. That game is, I was worried that I was maybe like being a little hyperbolic the other day. I don't know, man. This game is amazing stuff.
Nice.
Like it's potential all timer for me. It's in that realm.
On the topic of all timers, I'm not like anywhere near approaching levels of FOMO where I'm like, I got to get a PS5, but I'm like, man, I really wish I could play Elden Ring. Like,
I didn't even know about it. And I mean, like, once I saw a couple people mention Souls games, I was like, oh yeah, that is that new one that they announced that I kind of forgot about.
It sounds like it literally solves my like only complaint with Souls series. Well, besides like the first 10 hours are horrible and bullshit. But that because it is so massive and so like open world based, like if you run into a boss that you're just not strong enough to beat, there's so much more else you can do.
Hell yeah.
Like it's not like, okay, well, I have this or one other option and I'm stuck at bosses for both, so I either like keep fighting that boss until I get it or like I go grind.
You grind or you like literally that other option is you going likely backwards back through a path to go quite a bit back to get to another thing that maybe would lead to something.
Right.
And having headaches along the way. And you still need to go back on that path and fight your way back upwards when you decide to try again.
Yeah. Whereas this is like, oh, this one doesn't work? Well, let me try this one. Oh, let me try this one. Like, and there's just, then apparently like every path from there also like expands out, like so that you are just like full of possibilities from the beginning, and like that sounds so nice.
I saw the scores, so I used some of my PS4 trade-in money for a digital copy of Elden Ring.
Hell yeah!
So I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.